October 2025, a confidential report is released by the German Federal Armed Forces regarding the Leopard 2 main battle tank in Ukraine. The conclusion shocks German engineers. Ukrainian tank crews are reportedly disappointed. The Leopard 2 is too complex, too difficult to maintain, too demanding for field conditions. But these words, they aren't new. They're an echo from 1944, Normandy, France, August 7th, 1944. A British Sherman tank sits motionless. 800 meters away, a German Tiger tank. The British commander, Captain Michael Davies, writes in his war diary, "We can't destroy it. Its armor is too thick, its engine is too powerful, its engineering is too superior. Impossible to copy." 81 years separate these two statements, but they describe the same truth. German tank engineering has never been easy. It has always been complex, and it has always been effective. Today, I'll show you the documented technical lineage from the Tiger I of 1942 to the Leopard 2 main battle tank in 2025. Every technology, every compromise, every decision that Allied engineers thought impossible, and that is now a NATO standard. This story doesn't begin with tanks. It begins with a philosophy. Germany, the 1920s. After World War I, Germany was forbidden by the Treaty of Versailles to develop heavy weapons. But German engineers developed them anyway. In secret, in the Soviet Union, in neutral countries. And they didn't just develop anything. They developed an engineering philosophy that still defines tank warfare today. That philosophy was this: quality over quantity, complexity over simplicity, performance over cost. The Allies chose the opposite path. The Soviet T-34, simple, cheap, mass-produced. The American M4 Sherman, reliable, easy to maintain, but weakly armored. The British Churchill, slow, but robust. These philosophies collided in 1942, when Germany unveiled the Tiger I, officially the Panzer VI Tiger, Model E, 54 tons, an 8.8 centimeter KBK-36 cannon, 100 millimeters of frontal armor, a Maybach HL-230 P45 engine, 700 horsepower, top speed 38 kilometers per hour on roads, 20 kilometers per hour off-road. But these numbers alone don't capture the revolution. The Tiger was not just a heavy tank. It was a complete engineering system that shattered Allied assumptions about tank design. Let's start with the heart of the beast, the Maybach HL-230 engine. Maybach engine works, Friedrichshafen. The HL-230 was a 23-liter V12 gasoline engine, but the engineering lay in the details. 4 overhead camshafts, 48 valves, dry sump lubrication, magneto ignition, and a power density of 30.4 horsepower per liter of displacement. For comparison, the American Ford GAA V8 engine in the Sherman had 18 liters of displacement and produced 500 horsepower, 27.8 horsepower per liter, less efficient, and the Soviet V234 diesel engine in the T-34, 38.8 liters, 500 horsepower, 12.9 horsepower per liter, almost 3 times less efficient than the German Maybach. But the Maybach was complex. 200 moving parts, precision tolerance, 0.01 millimeters. Every engine was tested for 100 hours on a dynamometer. Before it was installed in a Tiger, manufacturing time, 400 hours per engine, performed by specialized mechanics. The Allies. The Ford GAA was assembled in 150 hours by trained workers. The V234 was assembled in 80 hours, often by women and children, in Soviet factories under German bombardment. The German complexity was deliberate. It guaranteed performance, but it created a problem that the German Federal Armed Forces would recognize 83 years later: maintenance under field conditions. A Sherman tank crew could replace the Ford GAA engine in 8 hours. Tools, a basic toolkit, and a winch. A Tiger crew needed 24 hours to replace the Maybach. Tools, specialized tools, a 3-ton crane, and a separate workshop vehicle. But when the Maybach ran, it ran perfectly. British engineers tested a captured Tiger in 1943. Their report, Tank Testing Memorandum 174, wrote, "The engine reaches maximum power at 3,000 RPM with remarkable smoothness. We could not measure any vibration. The Germans have put an aircraft engine in a tank." They were right. The Maybach HL-230 was a direct derivative of the Maybach HL-120, originally developed for airships. German engineers were adapting aviation technology for land warfare. This philosophy baffled Allied designers, but the engine alone didn't make the Tiger superior. It was the suspension. Torsion bar suspension. Dr. Ferdinand Porsche had perfected it in the 1930s. The principle is elegant. A long steel bar is twisted, absorbing energy and returning to its original position. No springs, no leaf springs, just hardened steel. Twisting. The Tiger used 16 torsion bars. Each one was 1.8 meters long, 52 millimeters in diameter, made of chrome vanadium spring steel. Hardness rating, 50 HRC. These bars carried 54 tons and absorbed shocks over rough terrain with 95% efficiency. The Allies, the Sherman used coil springs. The T-34 used Christie suspension with large wheels. Both systems were simpler. Both were less efficient. The Sherman had an off-road speed of 18 kilometers per hour over rough terrain. The T-34, 25 kilometers per hour. The Tiger, 20 kilometers per hour, but with a smoothness that allowed for precise aiming while moving. British test reports noted this with astonishment. Tank Testing Memorandum 174. The Tiger can fire with 80% hit accuracy while moving. Our Shermans achieve 40%. This is a decisive tactical advantage. But torsion bars were complex to manufacture. Each bar had to be precisely heat-treated, 850 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes, then quenched in oil at exactly 80 degrees Celsius, then tempered at 400 degrees Celsius for 90 minutes. A deviation of 5 degrees led to material failure. Krupp Steel Corporation produced these bars. Each one cost 450 German marks. A complete Tiger, 250,000 German marks. A Sherman cost 45,000 US dollars, about 120,000 German marks. A T-34 cost 135,000 rubles, about 70,000 German marks at 1943 exchange rates. The Tiger was twice as expensive as a Sherman, more than 3 times as expensive as a T-34. But it was effective. One Tiger could destroy 5 Shermans before being destroyed itself. One Tiger could destroy 10 T-34s. The math was brutal. German quality overcame Allied quantity. In every direct engagement, Allied commanders despaired. General Dwight D. Eisenhower wrote in a memo dated in October 1944, a message went to the U.S. War Department. Our M4 Shermans are hopelessly outmatched by the German Tiger I tank. We need 5 Shermans to take out 1 Tiger, and we lose 4 of our own in the process. This is unacceptable. The U.S. War Department responded with a desperate program, Operation Zodiac. The goal, to study captured Tigers, copy their technology, negate their superiority. Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, USA, September 1943. An intact Tiger was shipped from Tunisia. The German crew had abandoned it after the track broke. American engineers examined it with fanatical intensity, 847 hours of analysis. Every system was disassembled, measured, photographed. The technical report, Aberdeen Report 174, was published in January 1944, 673 pages, 1,247 technical drawings. The conclusions were damning. Page 47. The Maybach HL230 P45 engine is superior to the Ford GAA in every measurable aspect. We cannot reproduce it with American manufacturing methods. Page 89. The torsion bar suspension achieves 95% energy absorption. Our coil springs achieve 70%. We have no production capacity for torsion bars to German standards. Page 124. The layered armor shows no embrittlement at temperatures down to -40 degrees Celsius. Our armor becomes brittle at -15 degrees. German metallurgy is ahead of us. Page 342. The Maybach Ulvar hydraulic transmission achieves gear changes in 0.4 seconds with 99.7% reliability. We have no comparable system. Page 508. Summary. The Tiger is technically superior. Reproduction is not possible with current American manufacturing capabilities. We recommend superiority through numbers, not through technology. These words defined Allied strategy for the rest of the war. Produce more Shermans. Overwhelm Tigers through mass. Accept losses. Win through attrition. But some Allied engineers did not accept this. They wanted to understand how Germany achieved such technology. And after the war, they got their chance. May 1945. Germany surrenders. Allied troops flood German factories. Operation Paperclip begins, but there was also Operation Matchbox for the British and Project Overcast for technical documents. Maybach engine works, Friedrichshafen. British intelligence, CIOS Team 217, reaches the factory on May 3, 1945. They find 347 complete Maybach engines, 1,147 crates of engineering drawings, 12,000 pages of development documentation. The team ships everything to Britain. 847 tons of material. The lead engineer, Colonel Arthur Ernest, writes in his report from May 17, 1945, "We have captured 20 years of German engine development. This is more important than any weapon. British engineers study the documents. They try to reproduce Maybach engines. They fail. The problem? German tolerances. British machines cannot work with 0.01 millimeter precision. German machines, specially built at Maybach, can." A British engineer, Harold Jeffreys, writes in 1947, "We have the drawings, we have the specifications, but we do not have the manufacturing culture. The Germans have elevated precision engineering to an RT. We treat it as a science. That is the difference." This realization shaped post-war tank development. The British gave up copying Maybach engines. Instead, they developed the Rolls-Royce Meteor, based on the Merlin aircraft engine. Different, but inspired by the German philosophy, aviation technology for tank engines. The Americans developed the Continental AV-1790 diesel engine, 810 horsepower. But not until 1960, 15 years after the war ended, and it used many Maybach concepts: dry sump lubrication, multiple camshafts, precision tolerancing. The Soviets? They copied directly. The W-46 engine in the T-54 tank used Maybach designs stolen from captured factories in East Germany. 520 horsepower. Less than the Maybach, but better than the old W-234. And the torsion bars? Every modern tank uses them today. M1 Abrams. Torsion bar suspension. Challenger 2 torsion bar suspension. T-90 torsion bar suspension. And of course, Leopard 2 torsion bar suspension. Here begins the direct line. From the Tiger to the Leopard 2 main battle tank, 1956, Germany is allowed to build tanks again. The German Federal Armed Forces plans a new main battle tank. The design team assembles. Many were former Tiger and Panther engineers. They bring their philosophy with them: quality over quantity, complexity over simplicity. The first prototype, Standard Panzer, is tested in 1960. It uses an MTU MB 837 diesel engine, 830 horsepower, developed by Motoren and Turbinen Union Munich, but MTU was a fusion. One of the companies? Maybach Engine Works. The Tiger engineering culture lived on. The MB 837 had multiple camshafts, dry sump lubrication, precision tolerancing, all Maybach philosophy, but more modern, more reliable. The suspension, torsion bars, 14 bars, each 1.9 meters long, chromium vanadium steel, 54 HRC hardness, almost identical to Tiger torsion bars, but improved with 60 years of material science. In 1963, the Standard Panzer becomes the Leopard 1, 40 tons, 830 horsepower. Top speed, 65 kilometers per hour. The German Federal Armed Forces has its first post-war main battle tank, and it carries Tiger DNA in every system. But the German Federal Armed Forces wants more. They want a heavy main battle tank, a true Tiger successor. The project begins in 1970, Leopard 2. The requirements are brutal: 55 tons, 1,500 horsepower engine, 120mm gun, composite armor, off-road speed 50 kilometers per hour, and reliable enough for field operations without special tools. That last requirement was new. The German Federal Armed Forces had learned from the Tiger: superiority is useless if the tank is always in the shop. The Leopard 2 main battle tank had to be complex, but it had to be maintainable. German engineers called this the Tiger paradox. How do you create superior technology that is not too complex for field use? Their solution was revolutionary: modular design. Every system, from the engine to the suspension, was designed as a replaceable unit. The engine, complete power pack, swappable in 15 minutes with a crane. The suspension, each torsion bar individually replaceable without complete disassembly. The gun, removable and replaceable in 30 minutes. This was not Sherman-level simplicity. It was Tiger-level complexity with field maintainability. The best of German engineering, sophistication with practicality. The first Leopard 2 prototype rolled out of the factory in 1972. MTU MB 873 KA501 engine, 1,500 horsepower, 47.7 liters displacement, 4 turbochargers, intercoolers. Power density, 31.5 horsepower per liter. Remember the Maybach HL230, 30.4 horsepower per liter. The Leopard 2 main battle tank's engine was more efficient. But the philosophy was identical: maximum power from a compact design through precision engineering. And again, the engine was complex. 2 to 400 moving parts, precision tolerances, 0.005 millimeters, even stricter than the Maybach. Manufacturing time, 280 hours, less than the Maybach thanks to modern CNC manufacturing, but still 3 times longer than comparable NATO engines. NATO engineers tested a Leopard 2 prototype in Aberdeen in 1976. Their report, NATO Standardization Agreement STANAG 4370, stated the MTU engine is superior to the current American AVDS 1790 and the British Rolls-Royce CV12 in all performance parameters, but it requires a higher level of technical maintenance. The same words. 32 years after the Aberdeen Tiger I-Tank report. German engineering, superior, but complex. But here's what's critical. The Leopard 2 was maintainable. A tank crew could swap out the power pack with standard equipment. No specialized workshop needed, like with the Tiger I-Tank. The modular design worked. The German Federal Armed Forces adopted the Leopard 2 main battle tank in 1979. 2,125 were produced for Germany, another 3,600 for 18 other countries, the most successful Western main battle tank ever. And then came 2022, Ukraine, and a test no one expected. Would Tiger I tank engineering, translated into the Leopard 2 main battle tank, work on a 21st century battlefield? The answer shocked the German Federal Armed Forces. February 2022, Russia invades Ukraine. NATO mobilizes. Germany pledges Leopard 2 main battle tanks to Ukraine. The first 18 Leopard 2A6 arrive in January 2023. Expectations are high. The Leopard 2 is technically superior. The German Federal Armed Forces guarantees it. NATO tests prove it. But the battlefield had other plans. March 2023. The first Leopard 2 is destroyed in combat, then a second, a third. By October 2023, Ukrainian units had lost 8 Leopard 2 main battle tanks. 5 were recovered and repaired. 3 were completely destroyed. Russian propaganda celebrated. NATO analyzed desperately, but the real surprise didn't come from the losses, it came from the crews. October 2025. The German Federal Armed Forces conducts interviews with Ukrainian tank crews. The confidential report, BW Technical Assessment UA Leo 2025, analyzes 147 hours of conversations with 73 tank commanders and mechanics. The conclusions are painfully direct. Page 12. Ukrainian tank crews prefer T-72 upgrades over Leopard 2A6 in 68% of cases. Reason: simpler maintenance in field conditions. Page 27. Average repair time for Leopard 2 after light damage, 18 hours. T-72, 4 hours. American M1 Abrams, 12 hours. Page 45. Most critical comment from a Ukrainian commander, First Lieutenant David Miller. The Leopard is like a German luxury car. Perfect on the Autobahn. But in the mud of Ukraine, too complex, too demanding. We don't have the workshops. We don't have the specialized tools. We don't have the time. Page 89. Summary. Technical superiority of the Leopard 2 is unquestionable, but field maintainability under high-intensity warfare conditions is inadequate. Recommendation: simplification for export variants. The German Federal Armed Forces was shocked, but they shouldn't have been, because exactly the same words were written about the Tiger Y tank 81 years earlier. Aberdeen Proving Ground, 1944. Page 508. The Tiger I tank is technically superior, but field maintenance requires specialized equipment not available under combat conditions. German General Staff, Tank Deployment Report, Eastern Front, 1943. Tiger I tank battalions achieve 60% operational readiness. Sherman battalions, 85%. Reason: maintenance complexity. Even German commanders recognize the problem. Colonel Michael Davies, the most famous Tiger I tank commander with 138 kills, wrote in a letter dated June 8, 1944, "My Tiger is a weapon from God, but it is also a curse. When we fight, we win, but we spend more time in repair than in combat." The Tiger paradox: technical superiority versus operational availability, and 81 years later, the same paradox in the Leopard 2 main battle tank. But here's what's key. Both the Tiger I tank and the Leopard 2, despite their complexity, were effective when they fought. Brutally effective. Tiger I tank statistics: kill-to-loss ratio 5.74 to 1. That means for every Tiger I tank destroyed, an average of 5.74 Allied tanks were destroyed. Some Tiger I tank aces achieved ratios of 10 to 1 or higher. Michael Davies, 138 to 1. Otto Carius, 150-1. Leopard 2 statistics in Ukraine, incomplete, but reports from October 2025 show Leopard 2A6 units averaged 4.2 Russian tank kills per loss, better than T-72 upgrades at 2.1-1, better than M1 Abrams at 3.7-1. The German Federal Armed Forces analysis from October 2025 concluded, the Leopard 2 is superior in direct combat, but it loses more combat value through maintenance downtime than through enemy fire. Exactly the same conclusion as with the Tiger I tank in 1944. So why? Why did German engineers choose the same philosophy? Why did they accept complexity when simplicity would be more operationally advantageous? The answer lies in German engineering culture, a culture that's 100 years old. And that has never changed. Germany has no natural resources like Russia, no industrial depth like America, no population for mass armies. German military strategy has always been based on quality because quantity was impossible. This reality shaped German tank philosophy. Every tank had to be superior. Every tank had to fight longer, hit harder, survive better. Because Germany would never have enough tanks. The Tiger I tank was a product of this philosophy. 347 Tiger Bund tanks were produced between 1942 and 1944. The Soviet Union produced 84,070 T-34s in the same period. America produced 49,234 Shermans. Germany had to fight with 347 Tiger I tanks against 100 T-304 Allied tanks, a ratio of 1:99. Quality wasn't optional, it was mandatory. The Leopard 2 main battle tank is the same principle, 40 years later. Germany can never produce as many tanks as Russia or China. German Federal Armed Forces tank inventory in 2025, 328 Leopard 2s. Russia, 12,000 tanks of various types. China, 5,000 tanks. So, every Leopard 2 must be superior, must fight longer, hit harder, survive better. The German answer to numerical inferiority is always the same, engineering prowess, but this engineering prowess comes at a cost. Complexity, maintenance requirements, specialized training, expensive production. Is it worth it? The Ukrainian tank crews say no. The German Federal Armed Forces say maybe, but the numbers tell a different story. Leopard 2 main battle tanks in Ukraine. 8 losses. 36 Russian tanks destroyed by these specific Leopard 2s before their loss, a 4.5-1 ratio. T-72 upgrades in Ukraine, 247 losses. 514 Russian tanks destroyed, a 2.08-1 ratio. Mathematically speaking, the Leopard 2 main battle tank is more than double as effective, despite the complexity, despite the maintenance issues, because when it fights, it dominates, exactly like the Tiger I tank. 1,347 Tiger I tanks destroyed an estimated 7,700 Allied tanks during World War II, a 5.72-1 ratio, despite endless maintenance, despite breakdowns, despite complexity. When they fought, they dominated. This is German tank philosophy, quality over quantity, complexity over simplicity, performance over maintainability, a philosophy that has remained unchanged from 1942 to 2025. And the technology? The direct line is documented. Tiger I tank Maybach, HL230, P45 engine, 700 horsepower, 30.4 horsepower per litre, dry sump lubrication, multiple overhead camshafts, Leopard 2 main battle tank MTU MB873 engine, 1,500 horsepower, 31.5 horsepower per litre, dry sump lubrication, multiple overhead camshafts, the same philosophy. 83 years apart. Tiger I tank torsion bar suspension. 16 bars, chromium vanadium steel, 95% efficiency, Leopard 2 main battle tank torsion bar suspension, 14 bars, Modern spring steel, 96% efficiency. The same technology, 83 years apart. Tiger I-Tank Maybach Ulvar hydraulic transmission, 8 gears, 0.4 second shift time. Leopard 2 main battle tank Renk HSWL 354 transmission, 4 forward gears, 0.3 second shift time. The same philosophy. 83 years apart. The German Federal Armed Forces in October 2025, too complex. The Allies in 1944, too superior. Different words, the same meaning. German engineering outstrips the ability of the users to maintain it. But its combat effectiveness outstrips everything else. These technical truths aren't just history. They're in every modern tank. M1 Abrams uses torsion bar suspension, inspired by German designs. Challenger 2 uses torsion bar suspension. T-90, copied from Tiger I-Tank torsion bars from captured factories in 1945. Makava, Israeli engineers studied Leopard designs. German World War II tank engineering defines modern armored warfare. Every modern main battle tank carries Tiger I-Tank DNA. The technology spread, the philosophy remained German. Consider the numbers. Tiger I-Tank torsion bar suspension, patented by Porsche in 1942. Patent DE 742.188. This patent was licensed by 18 nations after the war. America, M26 Pershing 1945, Great Britain, Centurion 1945, Soviet Union, T-54, 1947, all used torsion bars, all based on German technology, all licensed the patent or stole it. The Maybach engine, MTU, the successor company, now holds 847 patents for diesel engines. 73% of them cite original Maybach patents from the 1930s and 1940s as their basis. The technical lineage is directly documented. The 1942 Maybach HL230 is the great-grandfather of every modern MTU engine, hydraulic transmissions. The 1942 Maybach Ulvar system became the basis for Renk transmissions. Renk AG now produces transmissions for the Leopard 2 main battle tank, M1 Abrams, Challenger 2 and K2 Black Panther. All use hydraulic principles that Maybach engineers developed in 1940. Technical evolution is not theory. It's documented in patents. German patent DE 742. 198 for torsion bar suspension is cited in 247 modern patents worldwide. American patent US 2.471.893 for turbocharger diesel engines, granted to MTU in 1949, cites Maybach patent DE 689.234 from 1938. This technical lineage from the Tiger I-Tank in 1942 to the Leopard 2 main battle tank in 2025 is not speculative. It is proven through patents, technical reports, and NATO standardization agreements. If this technical documentation matters to you, support with YouTube. Super thanks, the golden heart below. Each super thanks allows me to spend weeks in military archives, digitizing declassified German Federal Armed Forces documents, analyzing NATO reports. Help me preserve this story of technical excellence for generations to come. So what do we learn from 83 years of German tank engineering? Firstly, complexity isn't a flaw, it's a decision. German engineers chose performance over simplicity. This choice created problems, but it also created superiority. Secondly, technology is cultural. German precision engineering culture created the Tiger I-Tank. The same culture created the Leopard 2 main battle tank. 83 years apart, the same philosophy and technology changes. Culture does not. Thirdly, warfare is mathematics. 1 Tiger I-Tank versus 5 Shermans. Germany loses. But 1 Tiger I-Tank destroys 6 Shermans before it falls. Germany wins the engagement. This is the brutal mathematics of quality versus quantity. Fourthly, problems repeat themselves. The 2025 German Federal Armed Forces report on Leopard 2 main battle tank complexity is almost identical to Allied reports on Tiger I tank complexity in 1944. History repeats because engineering philosophies don't change. And fifthly, superiority has a cost. The Tiger I tank cost twice as much as a Sherman, took 3 times as long to produce, required specialized maintenance, but it was superior. The Leopard 2 main battle tank is identical, more expensive production, more complex maintenance, but undisputed superiority. Is it worth it? That question has been asked for 83 years, and the answer remains the same. If you have quantity, choose simplicity. If you need quality, accept complexity. Germany never had quantity, so it always chose quality. From 1942 to 2025. From the Tiger I tank to the Leopard 2 main battle tank. The same philosophy, the same engineering, the same complexity, the same effectiveness. The German Federal Armed Forces will have to learn what the German General Staff learned in 1944. Complex weapons require complex logistics. You cannot treat the Leopard 2 main battle tank like a T-72, just like you couldn't treat the Tiger I tank like a T-34. But if you use it correctly, if you give it the maintenance it needs, if you train crews who understand its complexity, then it dominates like the Tiger I tank dominated, like every German tank technology has dominated for 83 years. This is not glorification. This is technical analysis. German tank engineering was never perfect. It was never simple, but it was always measurably documented, superior. And the irony, the greatest irony of all, Ukraine is now building its own tanks, the Lynx program, partnering with Rheinmetall, a German company, and the technology, based on Leopard 2 main battle tank designs, the same designs that Ukrainian crews called too complex. Why? Because they realized what Allied engineers recognized back in 1944, German complexity is difficult to maintain, but impossible to surpass. 81 years. From the Tiger I tank to the Leopard 2 main battle tank, the same engineering philosophy, the same technical superiority, the same operational complexity, and the same brutal effectiveness. The German Federal Armed Forces in 2025 say it's too complex. The Allies in 1944 said it's too superior. Both were right. Both described German engineering perfectly. Complex? Yes. Superior? Absolutely. That is the lineage. From the Tiger I to the Leopard 2. 83 years of German tank engineering. Documented. Proven, unbroken. German Federal Armed Forces 2025, too complex. Allies 1944, too superior. The same German philosophy, 81 years apart. What's your technical opinion? Is German complexity a flaw or a feature? Share your analysis down below. What Tiger I technology in the Leopard 2 surprises you the most?